Hello parents, today I'm going to talk to you about picky eaters and also in drinking. This is very essential to understand because most of the time parents they have a biggest concern that their children they are so picky. They basically eat one, two, three, four kind of maybe sometimes three types of food, and also the drinking wise they don't want to drink water. They just drink juice. This is something very interesting, and I am going to educate you a little bit what's going on. Now, most of the time, there are a lot of factors are probably playing role right there. If they have any sensitivity around their oral motor, around their mouth area and their jaw area, and if they have a lot of ear infection, everything has happened, so that leads to quite a lot of sensitivity. So when they're chewing, they're not chewing properly, they're not swallowing. All those factors are going on, so that is creating a lot of hesitation to try. And on top of that, by looking at the portion size, I remember I was working with a kid, 8 years old. He did not have any specific diagnosis, but you will be surprised that the kid was surviving on only three food. One was chocolate chip cookie, another one was chocolate milk, and then another one more thing that was those crackers. That's all. He never wanted to try or eat anything other than that. Of course, he was going through a lot of oral motor sensitivity he had, and which was causing him not to try. And not only that, when he was little, he tried few things, and whenever one time he got choked on the hot dog and things have those experiences happened. That's what prevented him from trying anything new, because he looked at it and he just didn't want. He was comfortable with the chocolate milk, chocolate chip cookies, and crackers. And also that's just you can imagine what kind of nutrition point of view he was having a lot of issues that had affected that. He didn't care for water much. So this is something we need to figure out. If children they are drinking a lot of milk, that is for sure their stomach is getting full. They are not going to opt for anything new, or they don't want to eat any food. Because we all know milk has a lot of fat, plus it is pretty filling. So that we need to, first of all, we need to cut down that. If we want to have a change, we have to do the right thing. It's not if and but, and many times children with whenever they're having all the issues with the eating wise, then they're drinking milk. That causes digestive issues too. And also if they have allergies and they're having cough and cold and a lot of mucus, that milk also does affect all those things. That's something I am going to discuss in more detail in another of my video. But for the time being, I'm just going to mention this: stopping the milk. Probably you cannot stop the whole milk because the child is used to that and you are depending a lot about that. So gradually decreasing the amount of milk you are giving slowly, that is going to help, because then only you can see the improvement with eating wise, and the child will try different things. And most of the time I noticed that if a child had a problem with eating and we already give a clue whenever we are offering your child, we are thinking like that he is or she is not going to like it. No, I know he is going to like and he is going to try. We have to start with small bite, because when something is new we want to introduce, we don't want a big portion. So whenever you are eating at the dinner time and things you are doing, give a small bite of the unfamiliar food he needs to try. Then we can offer their own what food the child is used to, but then gradually we can increase. when I'm talking about small portion means I'm talking about really tiny portion. So that you will be surprised, the kid I was talking about, and when he came with the 3 food he was eating, and just it was amazing. Within 2 or 3 months of period, I saw him, the variety of food he was able to eat by the time he left Synergy. It was just unbelievable. As I said, just doing the right thing, that he was ready. And also I did a lot of desensitization around oral motor area, which is I can show you, but that is something that is a little bit tricky, that to do the right way. But if you have any question, you can call at Synergy, then I can really guide you through the whole thing. But to be very truthful, the desensitization, when a child is very sensitive, they will not allow you to touch their cheek. If this is that we do not do the exercise right here in a circular motion, then the child's sensitivity is not going to go away. Then also, if the child is doing a lot of drooling, when drooling saliva is coming out, they have difficult time to form a bolus formation, so they're trying to swallow it quickly. So that is also creating a barrier right there. So we have to prevent that. How that can be prevented if the child is drooling too much, I'm going to show you in another video. But for the time being, trying new food but in a small portion is essential. But when we are trying a new food, we need to understand what kind of liquid content. One of the parents I was talking to the other day, that the child likes to drink only juice, will not drink water. And mom said no, he is never going to drink water because he just likes juice. I said okay, try tapering it down, mixing, diluting it slowly and gradually. You'll be amazed within week or two that the child is only drinking water and asking for more water. And so that is just we need to look at, because we need to do these changes, because we know the moment the child is having juice, the stomach is full with the sugar. So there is it is not necessary for the child to feel hungry. Whenever it is very easy to say that my child is picky, but that can be changed. I still have to see a single time it did not work, because if we do that, we are going to strictly, and not only whoever is watching the video, you need to convey that message to all the caregivers, because it's much more easier to give a bottle full of milk and the child is holding and drinking. And just imagine, after that the child will not hungry and will not want to try anything good. So we need to reduce the amount of the milk, and also we are going to introduce different kind of food in a smaller amount, and you see how the stepwise the child is going to improve. That is going to definitely happen. And also another thing to watch for, what kind of things you are giving the child, because many times all natural, all things are written, but it's packed with sugar, because this is a kind of the companies, they are using parents' emotions, because parents are looking for all natural. When we are talking about all natural, but sugar is natural, but if you are putting too much sugar into it, so that is bad effect, creates bad effect. So that we need to look at how much added sugar is there. So this is something, if we are looking, is for a child to eat fruits is much more better than having providing them with the juice, because that is much more. And sometimes children, they do better if you are giving the chop up the fruits and freeze it. So the frozen kind of food, they like it better rather than having the texture. But as I said, trying a smaller portion and a small bite. Otherwise, what happens if the child it sees a big portion of the food is there, which is a new food, because it's all about familiarity. When there is something unfamiliar, then it creates trouble, which I have been saying, because until unless we decide to change and we are determined it is going to happen, things are not going to happen. I know Parents, you are looking for the solution, but most of the time we live in fear that my child is going to have a temper tantrum, and when we are having lunch or dinner, whatever, is going to be a big issue. If you deal with the issue one or two times, then it is going to get better, that the issue is not going to happen. But if we are not going to try, then he or she gets stuck with eating very few items and will never go further. But most of the time I have noticed, when the child is having problem, parents also, they have themselves very difficulty with different kind of food, so they're afraid themselves. Doesn't matter, if you are afraid, that's all right. If you are picky, that is fine, but do for this for your child, and I know it's going to work and it is going to happen. If you give a smaller portion, and you can do the circular motion when you are doing on your, to decrease the sensitivity, and encouraging the jaw movement, because chewing is essential. Most of the time children, they do not know, they tend to put them out and just swallow, and that also happens, that when the child is not able to breathe through the nose. Then again, I am going to talk about, because I can go on talking about that, this why the child is whenever you give the food, they just swallow rather than chewing. We are going to talk about it in your next video. For the time being, I am just going to stop right now. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.